So there I was, in a ship that was supposed to be lost, looking for something that should have stayed buried.
Hello, my name is Will and welcome to my first ever video review. I'm doing Bad Company 2 for you today. You're not going to be looking at my face the entire time. There's some game footage coming up in a second, don't worry. I've got to apologise about the video quality. It's not that great, but it should get better with the more videos I do. So without further ado, here's Battlefield 2. Except that it isn't Battlefield 2, it's Bad Company 2, isn't it, you moron?
PC gamers are going to notice something a little bit different this time around, and that is that this is a Battlefield game that's actually got a single player mode, and the single player mode isn't half bad. The story is a bit cliched. You've got a Russian who's trying to build a weapon and you've got to stop him building and using it. The story's going to take you to plenty of different environments. You've got environments like this, you've got snowy environments, urban environments, construction yards, fields, etc. You name it, it's in there. You're going to be playing the game as Preston Marlowe, who fights alongside other members of his squad. You've got Captain Redford, you've got Sweetwater, and you've got Haggard, as well as a hippie pilot who hates javelins but really likes RPGs.
The characters are actually one of the game's best qualities. They're funny, they're not afraid to poke fun at other games, Modern Warfare.
But above all, they're believable, which is good, because they're going to be with you throughout most of the game, and you'll be following them into situations like this. Like in all other Battlefield games, the game features bullet drop on all weapons, and it varies depending on which weapon you choose, and there are a lot of weapons in the game. The game features everything from rocket launchers to sniper rifles to assault rifles, explosives like C4 and things like that. Pretty much the only thing that isn't in there are claymores. And the game teaches you to use most of it as well. There are places where you're going to want to use sniper rifles or rocket launchers, even parts where you're going to want to use a UAV to blow away armour in a village that you don't want to get too close to. And speaking of vehicles, there are quite a few of them featured in the single player game that are also featured in the multiplayer, so it teaches you to use them for that too. During the campaign you'll find yourself driving tanks, ATVs, jeeps, and you'll find yourself shooting out the side of a chopper or the back of a truck on more than one occasion. And although it's nothing that hasn't been done before, they do it very, very well. And these moments make for some of the best in the game. Several of the missions also do sandbox gameplay, where you'll be able to choose which objectives you want to do and complete them in any order you like. And while it doesn't add anything particularly new, it is nice to have that choice. Most of the other missions feature more straightforward sections where you might only have a couple of paths to choose from, even if it's just deciding which archway to go through. But you never quite know what's going to be around the next corner, so you have to be prepared at every step of the way, which is why the game allows you to carry 2 primary weapons as well as some C4 if you can find it. Although the game never really does stealth, there are some fantastic on-rails parts that force you to run and gun while you've got artillery firing all around you. The action would be fairly intense anyway, but the fact that all these buildings can be blown apart as you're running past them makes it even more so. The game doesn't really give you any opportunity to take cover in these sections, so it becomes more about thinking on your feet and taking down enemies at close range than sniping at them from a distance.
Did I just film myself dying and put it in a review?
The game also does a good job of feeling intense when there aren't any enemies around. Take this downhill sprint for example, where you've got to try and find or create fire to keep yourself from freezing to death. The only downside to the single player is it only takes around about 6 hours, but on top of this you've got multiplayer and it's going to take you a long time to get up to level 50. The single player game also sets you up quite well for multiplayer because it forces you to use weapons you wouldn't ordinarily use. For example, I discovered this Type 88 sniper rifle with a red dot, and I love it. It also prepares you for the fact that one bullet might not necessarily kill an enemy if you're too used to Modern Warfare. But anyway, I think that's enough about the single player. Let's get on to the multiplayer. The multiplayer game features the same variety of places as the single player game, but you get to explore more of them. If you've played a Battlefield game before, then you know the drill by now. This time around you get 4 classes. You've got a medic, you've got recon, you've got assault, and you've got an engineer, and they pretty much do what they say on the tin. Classes from previous games such as Battlefield 2 have been condensed so that everything you loved is still there, but it's in a tighter package. Your medic can heal and revive things, your engineer can fix or blow things up.
Questionably, the assault kit has got both a resupply box and noob tubes, so he's essentially got an unlimited supply. I'd like to know who thought that was a good idea.
And then finally your recon kit has got a sniper rifle as well as C4 or a mortar strike to bring in the heavy ordnance. As you unlock weapons you'll get some that you can use with any kit, so you may well find a sniper running around with a G3. Bad Company 2's got online stat tracking and you can check your stats at any time from the main menu. It keeps track of how many kills you've got with each weapon and vehicle, it keeps track of medals that you've earned, and it also keeps track of dog tags, which you get from knifing people. As you can imagine, it's really nice to brag about. And speaking of bragging, you've also got leaderboards where you can check your rank overall and your rank amongst your friends. But it's a little bit broken at the moment and it doesn't show all of your stats or all of your friends half the time. Bad Company 2 features 4 game modes. You've got Conquest, you've got Rush, Squad Rush and Squad Deathmatch. Rush is kind of like a blend of the old Conquest mode along with Demolition mode from Modern Warfare 2. You've got 2 bomb sites that you need to blow up before your team can move on to the next 2, and you've only got a limited number of lives to do it in. Some bomb sites are placed within indestructible buildings, so if you're finding getting in a little bit of a struggle, you could just blow the entire building up and save yourself the trouble.
No way.
Squad Deathmatch is much the same, but it's only up to 8 players. You only get 1 bomb site at a time to attack from, and only about 20 lives to do it in. Normal Rush mode features up to 32 people, so it can easily turn into a free-for-all, whereas this stays tactical almost the entire time. Squad Deathmatch pits 4 teams of 4 against each other, and its first to 50 kills wins. If you lose tickets, you can gain them back by reviving people and by killing the other team. The maps you play on in the 2 squad-based game modes are smaller versions of the maps you play on Conquest and Rush modes. Possibly the strangest thing about Bad Company 2 is the fact that the Squad Deathmatch is actually the most tactical game. You need to revive your teammates to win and you have to stick together as a squad, otherwise you're going to get slaughtered solo. One good player won't save a team if the others aren't working together. You unlock weapons and items for each kit as you go along, but you're given full access to all vehicles straight away. The vehicles are both essential and varied. You'll need them for breaking through enemy lines and traversing the maps because they're pretty big. No matter your style of play, there's a gun or a vehicle out there for you somewhere. As you'd expect, all vehicles have their strengths and weaknesses. It's worth mentioning as well that there's a hardcore mode, which means it takes less bullets to kill someone, but it also does away with certain gameplay features like spotting or the minimap. When you're in a squad, you can spawn on your squad mates and they can spawn on you, but it's worth bearing in mind that it can happen to the enemy team as well. Overall, the multiplayer is a lot of fun and it's fairly well balanced, although you will find yourself being sniped by pistols occasionally. Although the game is very good, that's not to say there aren't some problems. For example, sometimes you won't be able to connect to the EA servers, let alone a server that you know is online but won't let you connect. As well as that, there are some issues with lag, even on servers close to you. The random spawns in Squad Deathmatch are just that, completely random, and you may find yourself spawning within a few inches of enemies or right next to someone who's got their back turned. Some of the times you'll get an easy kill, but more often than not you'll get easily killed.
After playing both the single player and the multiplayer, I'm going to give Bad Company 2 an 8 out of 10. That's a 2 though, but 8. Thank you for watching. Tune in again sometime soon when I should have another video up. If anyone has any good ways of capturing footage from PS3 or 360, please let me know, as it will help me. Thank you. Goodbye.